Hello everybody, welcome back to the Artisan of Glimmith. 426 puzzles solved. So many already, and yet still so many left to do. I am done with this island for now. I don't think I'm going to try and tackle this on a very fresh brain. So now we have once again a decision of mechanics. We can either come to solitude, where each region contains exactly one symbol, or all the way back over here, we have something about counting. Size separation, neighboring regions must have different areas. I'm going to keep going along this left-hand path for now, I think. So, each region contains a single symbol, and we know how areas work. So, that's going to be 4, that's going to be 4, that's going to be 4, and that's going to be 4. Each region contains a single symbol, so that's going to get that there, with that there. This hooking here, and those two hooking over one another. Solitude again, so this can't exist because it's got 2 symbols within it. So, just drawing what we see. Nothing more complicated than that right now. Now we have palisades to deal with. Each region contains a single symbol. So, what we can't do here is have regions that have no symbol. They must have at least one symbol within them. Each region contains a single symbol. Is it just... No, it's not just that, because this... That has to be there, which means that has to be there, that has to be there. So, that has to make a straight line, that has to make a straight line. Then, this cannot colour the other side of that, because we can't do this. So, am I missing something very obvious? Because I can't do this and get this out to here, because then that region doesn't get a colour. Well, no, we can't have them in the same region, so they must be split up vertically. This can't do this because that can't take that on. Going to be 2 regions that do at least this. There it is. That wasn't so bad, was it? Solitude, palisades, polyominoes. Well, that can't do that, because that would block that in. So that has to come to at least here. This could do that. Or it could hypothetically do that. But every region contains a single symbol. So I think, if we think about where these need to get into a group, I think this is going to have to come and make like a fill of all the negative space around all of these pieces. So we have to figure out how we can make all of these shapes without cutting off the ability of this to go around them all. And that unlocks the rest of this island. Where's our window? Where is our window? It's down there. An interesting place for it, but a valid one nonetheless. Let's carry on with these ones that are right next to our entryway onto the island here. Solitude, palisades. So, that's going to do that. This is going to have to come out to at least here, which means that has to do this and this, which means that has to do that. That's going to gain this and this. How are we going to colour in this to be different than this? Because we could do that, but we can't have the single one there. So, where does this go? This is going to have to get out. Well, I think if this colours that, and that chops off there, this can just take all of that remaining space, is what I was about to say before it did it for me after I'd made the lines. This is just an exercise in colouring. This can only make that, which can only make that, which can make that, which can make that. No. That. Again, simple ones. Each symbol is its own region. So presumably these numbers add up to 25. 4, 8, 12, 15, 17, 19, 22, 25. They do indeed. So we're going to have to do this. Which means this is going to have to be picked up by one of the 4s. Because this can't make it out to either of those. That means also that this has to be picked up by this 4, which gives us a start on which way round things are going. Which means that's going to pick up that. That's going to pick up there. That's going to be 2. That's going to be 3 and 3. Lovely. 2, 3, 2. The 12 here is looking chunky. So this 3 can at max colour to these, which means the 12 is going to have to reach both of these corners, I believe. Because even this 6 can't make it to that corner. To do so, how many is that? 13. Can it get there more efficiently? Can it get there more efficiently? That's 11. But then there's 5 on the right-hand side of this. So how do I get one more on the right-hand side here? There's nothing else can reach this corner, so the 12 must reach that corner. I can take up one more spot, but then there's 4 for a 3 here. We can't do it on the opposing side, because then we block the 6 in. We could do it that way. Nice. Using the reach of the corners there as our defining start. Alright, you must come to there, 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 and you have options. You must come to here, which means you must go to there. That makes 6, put a box around it. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, put a box around it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, put a box around it. 6, 6. Good one. A 4 down there. 2, 3, 2, 5. I wonder at what point we get to this region. Because I wonder if we need to... Well, oh, this looks like it breaks into there, doesn't it? And then perhaps this region, well, I don't know, because I've been thinking just on a grander perspective. Obviously, we've learned new mechanics over here, and there's new mechanics to learn on this side, but up until kind of this arbitrary line, these puzzles won't use these mechanics because they haven't both been introduced to one another's sides yet. But at some point moving forward, you have to imagine that all of the mechanics are going to kind of meld together into one mega group of mechanics that can interlink with one another. Right, from here. This feels like it has to be the case because if it were anything else, I mean, technically that could fill up that side, but you end up where something's going to cover the wall that is parallel to it, and we can't do shapes like that. So I like the idea of this more, though that's not necessarily logical. That could equally be it. Right, this guy here can only exist here or here. But if this exists, that can't do that. Therefore, this looks good to me. Put a box around it, therefore that must take up to this edge. This 3 needs straight, that can take all of that. That means this can still exist in 2 ways, so focus on the bottom side. This tile can't be the same color as this, so we'd have to do... How would we do that? How would we do that? It would be that, and then this comes down. That goes up, that goes across. Lovely. Restore the solitude window. And then how many? 4. Only 6 more to get to silver. We now have multiple options of mechanics springing forward in the area ahead. But we'll keep working here for now. Oh my. 2 regions. A 16 and an area much larger than 16. But here's the thing. This has to have something going in the at least 2 of the cells behind it. That makes 15. We have to make sure that this can then take up all of the acquired space, which I believe will be there. No, we missed this one. That is 16, and everything is accessible from the other side. So if we tap Q here, nice and simple. 4, 3, 3, 4, 3 back here. You are a solitude puzzle. There's even more hanging out back there. We saw that one in the cliffside. That one's a 4 in the cliffside. Right, there's not too many puzzles here. I guess it makes sense because we're only going to 19 to get done. Right, that must come to there. These all need to be independent. So can this make that shape in any other way? It could be that instead. But on both of those, this is a defined line. I suspect it's just going to be not unlike the puzzle we just did, where we need to make these 5 shapes independently without leaving any negative space that can't be reached by this guy. So this can't reach 3 high because it would break that up there. We need to make sure they can get out to this bottom corner as well. So we can't do that because this region doesn't get a thing remaining. So that was largely just vibes colouring. Let's think about this guy at the bottom. It can't exist like this because that would then block off this bottom corner. So let's see how we can colour these two so that we don't block off the lower right corner for this to get out. This can't do that because it closes that off. But the 3 long can't go here. So it looks like it would have to be that. Can we then do this one? That would be that, but that closes that off. Is there any other way we can do this? We can do it that way. Then this one can get out to there. But I suspect there'll be a better way for us to do this in that. Then this guy can exist there. That guy can exist there. And if we just press Q. Oh, we missed this one. Oh. I was doing so well. That way. There it is. Good. Right, this section looks like it's going to be the trickiest part because a lot of this could just be coloured pretty simply. Oh, there's mismatch in play. Why do I always do this? I always go, yeah, we can just go start screwing through, and I never stop to look at the last extra third rule that is hiding there in the middle because the streamer can't read. Also, this number looks like or this puzzle looks like a number 1, which is kind of cute. Okay, logic. That line must exist. That line must exist. One of these must face left, one of them must face right. This has to pick up that and do that. So that's going to be our domino. Which means if this is a domino, this can't be a domino. Therefore, this has to come around. These two can't be dominoes either. That can be a 3 hook. That can be... Oh no, solitude. Solitude. Ah, so many stacked rules. That can be a 3 straight line. That can be a hook. That can go there. And that can grab that. Okay. It's not too bad. It's not too bad. That is 16 of 19. 5, 3, 3, 4, 3. Right. You get a parallel line. 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 And then we just have to colour in the rest. You could actually do that. You can't do that, though. You can't exist on both sides of yourself. All regions must be exactly 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Good. Lovely. Oh, goodness. Okay, well, one of the things we've learned about this symbol in our time with the game is that the outside edge is one part of it, so it's either going to have that line or that line, which means it has to go upwards into the center of the level. We know that one. This is not going to pick up that 2. This is not going to pick up that 2. This is not going to pick up that 3 because we're on solitude. That's not going to pick up that 4. Okay. Palisades, area numbers, solitudes. Oh, big stretch from me. Sad that my beverage is empty, but that's okay. What's next for this? This 4 must be that shape. Because of solitude, it can't extend the borders of anywhere else that it is currently existing. This then must have a parallel line there. That takes up that space. This 3 therefore takes up this space. Therefore, this is against a flat line, and so that must consume the tile opposite it. This already has 2 walls that occupy it. So that's gone pretty well. That's going to have to go out to here. Then soon it seems like it's just going to be a matter of colouring in that which remains. If this 2 goes that way, it leaves that alone. If it goes this way, those 2 could be picked up. If it goes that way, it leaves this alone. Therefore, that 2 must go in that direction. That means this must pick that up. That means this dead end must go here to pick that up. This 2 must pick that up, which means this must pick that up. That's a line. This is going to take up to at least here. All the regions now have edges. We just have to figure out the rules that are going to finish things off. I think this has to take that line, because if it doesn't, the space here is left unadorned with a region. This has to take that side, so that takes that. So then this is probably just going to keep going in kind of a clockwise direction, right? Good. Puts us at 18 of 19. We made very good time here. Got 4 rules. Okay. Palisades is just you. Area numbers, sure. Mingle, neighboring regions must have different shapes. Solitude, every region contains a single symbol. Okay, what can we do with that? Well, these 3 cannot go like this because every neighboring region must have a different shape. And so all of these 2s must, I think by definition, do this. We can't leave this without a shape because it's solitude, everything must have a region. So that makes up for those, which means this has to come out to here. This cannot go that way. It cannot go that way. This could go this way or that way. It can't do both, so this area is going to come out to here, at least. So this region is going to pick up this, eventually, and then take up all the remainder of the negative space. And that's how this is going to solve. This can't go up to here. I'm just trying to think of what this trio looks like. Good. Mark of Talent. Turn 15 windows silver. 11 more puzzles for gold, but we got silver in 24 minutes, so maybe we'll be all right here. Extra puzzles have populated around the place, including there's a few back here now. Let's see what we've got. Oh my. Solitude and Palisades. And not much else. Where do we begin? Fantastic question. Well, here. This guy has to go out to there. Can't do this, so that will be a line. Each region contains a single symbol, so this piece must take up that, otherwise that's left alone. So that will go to there and either left or right. But this cannot be a dead end. So either this is going to take this, or this perhaps. As yet undecided. This is going to have to take at least a T shape about itself, I think. But I'm not exactly sure quite how yet. This, I don't believe, can make this. Yeah, because by the time that's made a 3 and that's made a 3, this can't make a 3. So therefore that must be vertical. And that must be vertical, and that must be vertical. And that must be vertical. I believe. I believe all of that to be true. If that goes up, that goes to the side, that goes to the side, that makes a T. That would be viable. If that goes down, that goes down, that goes across, that makes that. That's not viable. Therefore, that goes up, that goes over, that makes a T. That's a dead end. Do some boxes. That must exist there. These parallel lines. Therefore, this must hook over there to make that a domino. That's going to be a T and that's going to be a domino. That's going to be a T. Nice. I love it when the last few bits of the level do resolve in the expected manner, rather than me having accidentally left a problem bit of logic somewhere earlier that then collapses at the end. Which we know I'm all too fond of. This either must exist here, but it can't because that's left over there. Can't do that because that's left there. Where else can you exist? There. Looks good. This and this can kind of make up whatever regions it wants to. Provided it obeys its dead end rule. But once it does make a dead end rule, it can't go to its opposing side. So I think we're going to possibly have something like something high and something low. But we obviously have to account for this L-shaped piece here. So if this does this, hold on. I can't believe I didn't smush that over at the top to get the solve right when I thought I was going to get it. That's fine though. Right, are we out of 3s? Because then if we are, I'll start tackling 4s, but there's a 3 over here. What do we have going on? You must colour that there. And that's what I've got. That line must exist. Precision 4 is interesting. Good to note that sooner rather than later. That line must exist. In fact, if we have solitude, all of these lines must exist. Therefore, you must take up that space. That line must exist, therefore you must take up that space, and that line must exist, therefore you must take up that space. This needs an area of 4, but it has to be a dead end. It can't do that onto itself, so it must take up that, which means that's going to take up that, and that's going to be a region. Put a box around it. That has to get out to at least here. That has to get out to at least there. This needs to belong to a region. Those must exist. That can't get to there as 5. So that's going to get to there as 4. That picks up that, becomes a box. That picks up that, because if this went upwards and had a box around it, it would be an area of 2. Put a box around that. That's going to have to pick up that, because this would be 5 to get there. What else do we know for precision 4? This now has to do that because of the parallel lines. That can't go that way, so it must go this way. This can't pick up that, because if it does, this can't make 4 at the bottom with the box. So I believe that picks up that. How? Hold on. How do I do this? You have to do that. You have to come out of there. You come out of there, put a box around it. You come to there, put a box around it. You have to come out to here. You can't go to there, so you come out to here. You become a 4, put a box around it. You come down, put a box around it. Not yet. It looks like it's going to be this in some manner. Good. 4, 5, 4. Oh, a couple on the cliffside here. Don't want to miss a 3 now, do we? How are we going to colour in that? Not with these, so this piece must be part of this. That can't reach there, so... How is this going to colour in those? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. But then this doesn't get out to fill in the rest of the space. I can do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 doesn't get to there. So this tile is not within the realm of 6. And this is not within the realm of 5. Therefore, this must pick up this and this at least. That is within the realm of 6. That's within the realm of 5. But this needs 2 lines that can't colour both sides of itself. How do we do that? You must do that, you must do that. Neither of these can make that corner. Therefore, this and this must have the same corner. The 6 can't make that. The 5 can't make that. Therefore, this shape must exist in at least this fashion. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How does it get out? Is that how do I colour this shape in? While keeping the outside contiguous to the inside of the chevron? That is the question. So we know this must be true at a minimum. I can pick up that and that, but this needs 2 lines. And this needs 2 lines without colouring both sides of itself. I'm so baffled. I don't see it. How does this get out of its own way? Because it can't take that tile. But that can't block off all of this space. This needs to have this rune in it. I don't see it at all. I don't see it at all. Right. Who next? You. 9, 18, 27, 36, 45 is the size of our region. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Because this can't colour that and its opposing side. I like that a lot immediately. Which means this is going to take that. And it has to get out. It might take this, it might not. But it has to get out, so that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Not that one, 7. Someone's got to get this one. It's going to have to be you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, this doesn't work because who's going to take this tile? That gets 9. That's not bad. You're not 9 now, are you? You're an 8. You take that one. You're 9, you're 5. Ugh. How do you get more area in you? Right, restart me. I'm clearly just been colouring. You cannot go out that way. So you're going to be at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. At least. Someone needs to touch this. This is 5, 6, 7 away from that, and presumably 4, 5, 6, 7 away from that because these two are one further or down each accordingly. This can't cross this line. So if this colours this, it can't take all the rest of that. So we are right in that this has to come down at least. That means that has to come down at least. Okay, I was right enough, I think, about this because my vibes pass a logic check. This needs to get out now. And so if this is 9, 6, 7, 8 at least, possibly 9, but this has to be picked up by somewhere else. That's you. That makes you grab that. That means you are going to take that for 8. That for 9, and you pick up the last 2. Good. That puts us at 23 of 30. 6 over there is frightening. Oh boy. Solitude, Mingle, Palisade. Neighboring regions must have different shapes. Where do we begin? Great question. Like, one of these has to take that space. But after that, it's like, okay. This is going to exist to only one of the 4 spaces around it. How do we then do this guy? Because we can't have those existing that way. It's basically going to come down to, I think, how do we colour a bunch of these in without just using a bunch of dominoes? Like, this has to get picked up by somebody, and that is going to be a domino. This has to be picked up by somebody, and that's going to be a domino. But it can't be this, because that breaks Mingle shape. This can't exist. This can't... no, this could do that, but then this becomes a domino, and that's not allowed. So how are we getting this out? These can't all be dominoes. That could be a domino. That could be a domino. That could be a domino. How... That can hook. That can be 2, that can be 3. Nice. We got there. 5, 5, 4. Oh, geez. Polyominoes, palisades, solitude. So the palisade is just this in the middle. Presumably then, we need to draw these shapes in these regions in such a manner that this can then kind of wind around whatever's left to fill in the gaps. Because this is 5, 10, 15 of a 21 area, and this is similar. So that one's done. No issues. This needs to exist in a way that doesn't break off a single piece into a corner. This has to be done in a way that doesn't break off a piece into a corner as well, but they can't be in the same region. So how do we colour this top row in using a piece of yew, unless we don't use a piece of yew at all? It would be that, probably. Except how do we get this out of here? We can't. Can't be that. Which way round can you go? Can't do that. You can do that. There you go. Couple more of those. That one's too easy. Then down here. Excuse you. Thanks. That wasn't too bad. Like, difficulty 4 seems too high for that. But as I have expressed many times, I don't really understand the grading scale of how the difficulty is equated on these things. Solitude, precision 5 with palisades. Where do we begin? Well, let's look at these two. If this is our straight, then this must come out to at least here. Or, if this is our straight, this must come to at least there. Does that help me? Well, whichever way it is, this will end up making some version of this. That would have to pick up that corner, that would have to pick up that. That could be a T shape. This needs to be 5. That worked out very nicely. Did we look at this? We did look at this. I didn't see how to get out of that corner. Right, you pick up 1 and 2, and then this is going to be different. You pick up that, you pick up that. You pick up this, which must then go that way. You don't have to be any bigger than that. You pick up this, which must then go that way. You must go out this way. You must colour that line and that line. You must pick up that, which means that line must exist, and then you're going to go one way or the other. That must come out to here. That's going to have to come to there, because if it goes to here, that gets blocked off. Now, how does this join a group? Can't be that. Have we gone very wrong somewhere? All of this is valid, but I have this shape remaining, which seems incorrect. You must come down, you must go up, you must go out. That means you don't have to go out. How are we going to get this to a region that can have unlimited size? There you go. Good. 27 of 30. Solitude and palisades and nothing else. So things can be as big as they want to be. We just have to get things on two sides of a lot of walls, which is going to be interesting. I think they have to go vertical, because if this goes horizontal, then those two would be of the same shape. So we start here. Seems like a fine enough place to start. Okay, we're in the lines. Before I start trying to colour outside of them. How do we get this to that end. What do we do with this square? What? What did I do? This needs to be a different color than this. But I can't do that with that there. So let's restart that assumption. What do I definitely know about some of this? This has to be a different color than this. Okay, so we have this, and this need to be 3 different colors. So that means this is going to have to come over to at least here. If this is going to come to there. And then we have to figure out what to do on the right-hand side, I think. Oh. There it is. Nice little deduction there. 28 of 30. 6, 5, 5. Just those few left. Obviously there's this guy here that I still don't understand. I feel like there must be a few that we've not spied around the place. No? Alright, let's do this 5. Or at least try to do this 5. Solitude, area numbers, polyominoes. Feels like something where once we start kind of going clockwise or anti-clockwise, it's going to stick, but probably not that simple. Looking for a starting piece of logic here. Somewhere. This can reach there or there. But not both. So one of these is going to have to come inwards. The 7's the biggest number. Okay, the 7 can't come to there. Because if it did, this would get locked in. So the 7 must come to maximum there. How did I get to all of that just from counting the 7? I'll take it. One more. Where's that other 5? You're the 5. Where's the 6 then? You're the 6. Oh gosh. Oakley dokley. You get a line. You get a box around you. You get a parallel line. You get a line. You go that way. You exist as either this or this. We can't know which yet. What else do we have? Do we know? That and that exist that way. Any more? Let's just check our rules. Solitude, everything gets one thing only. Area numbers are area numbers. Palisades, palisades. Polyominoes are polyominoes. Okily dokily. Where does that leave us? That can't exist there. It can't exist there. It can't exist there. Can't exist there. Is that the only way that this can exist? Is like I could exist in the inverse, but it's got to be one of those two, I think. No, it could be that. Damn. All right, I was hoping that once we eliminate kind of enough options for this, we could at least color in a couple of the tiles that it could exist within. But there's options where this obviously must be part of itself, but this version doesn't include that. This version doesn't include that. There's none of these tiles that are included in all three of those variants of that coloring, which is unideal. So, where else can we go? Great question. Let's put in that line. There's nothing to say that that will exist. Okay. This too has to either be that, or that, or that. That could be this and that. That cannot exist because this can't color both sides of itself. So, this must be colored by a different region. It can't be this region. Therefore, this cell must be colored from this region. Whether that is part of this, we don't yet know, although it seems unlikely given that that shape blocks this 7 out to a region that can't exist. This can't go vertically in this space. Wait, does this have to have that? Oh, God. Does this have to have this as well? Because that can't do that, and that can't do that. So I think actually this takes this as well. Now, this could still be this or this, but that line must exist, which means this could exist as that, and then the 7 can get out. If this was 2, this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Therefore, it can't be that for that shape. Which means this shape needs to exist in some other manner here. How would we do that? That's a great question. Right, how can we fill this in? We decided it can't be this. Wait, no, it could be this. Because this can go up. And if that went left, that leaves exactly 7. That seems like it's it because I don't see any other way to place this polyomino in a manner that doesn't trap the 7. So I'm reasonably happy with this. If that's 2, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Nothing then colours that in, so we have to take this one away, add that one. We can't take that one away and add that one because then the 2 doesn't reach. So I think it's that. I think that has to be this. Now, I do not love this result because when we then stop to study this guy, we have this space that needs to be coloured with somebody's region, and it can't be with that leaving these alone. So for all of that sudden effort, it doesn't feel correct, which is a bummer. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, that feels suddenly much better. I don't know how we didn't get anywhere near that to start with, but that feels a lot better. Yeah, I don't know why that was never on my radar, but the reframing from this zigzag certainly gets me there. You have to be a different colour. Which way you go out, I don't know yet. This 5 is going to have to take this tile because that can't wrap around itself and this can't reach that. So the 6 could, and the 5 could be like that, but that doesn't leave anywhere for that to have a solution, I believe. Can't do that. Can do that. There was another version of that, wasn't there? That would be viable. Okay. Gosh, there's so much puzzle here. I'm looking at this cross again. If this exists... Okay, here's a good... I was going to say, if this exists, this can't loop around there. That 3 can't make 4. But if that's the dead end, that could come round to there. So that doesn't define necessarily where the cross has to be. But if the cross is here, this 5 can't join that region. So that does disambiguate the cross for me, I think. 1, 2, 3. Huh. But how does this get out for 5? How does that get? Ignore the cross for a second. If this exists... this can't be... This line must exist to separate the 2 regions. Therefore, this line must exist. You must pick that up, and you must pick that up and that up. How do you... Oh, wait, hold on. If that exists... Or that exists. If this exists, the 5 can't count that high. If this exists, then... That goes to there, that counts 5, that 3 goes over there, that picks all of that up, everyone up there is happy, I believe. You come out to here. You can still come out all over the shop. This guy looks like it's going to have to be that. which brings you out a little further. You could do this, but it's not in stone yet. What ways can this exist? That could hypothetically exist if we don't dig in too many ways further. This guy can only have a few options for how we place them. It can't be that, because this can't take up those two fractures. That looks best. That does seem quite close to correct, doesn't it? But that's how I've gotten myself in trouble in the past. The notion of quite close to being correct. This can come out further, that can go up further if it needs to. These two dead ends are giving me caution. I feel like, well, this could go up, that could go down, so I don't have a good disambiguation there yet. This is 4 long. If it does this, that would have to do that. That would have to come up there. That could do that. Is this looking viable? This 5 can't take up all of this room. This can't be the same color as that. This can't be the same color as that. Which other, I'm sure there was one more way I thought this could go. I really thought there was a third position that could be in. What else do we have for logic? This 6 can't reach that far, but we just decided that this could go that way round. So that doesn't disambiguate yet. Let's look at this tile. If this is part of this like this, or rather, if that's not part of that, if this is part of this, and this is part of that, these two end up unclaimed. Can't colour in both sides of this with dead ends. This needs to be at least 4 long. I'm worried that somewhere I've messed up. It's these two dead-end types that I'm not super happy with. So does this resolve that? Oh, there it was. Okay, cool. There is gold on solitude. Where was the 6? It's hiding down here. I think at an hour 10, coming up to my lunchtime, that's going to be a puzzle for another day. But that was a really nice, concise period on that little island there, I would say. Don't know if any other puzzles were hiding. But this still breaks my brain, and there's the big old finale one. But yeah, lovely time. Thank you so much for watching. Hit that like button, subscribe for more. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.